We've heard this all over and over again. When you play in the best conference in the country, an ugly win against anybody is still a quality win. And this was a big one. And to get the groundbreaking news out of the way to all of my OU and Texas friends out there, we're okay, regardless of what you want to do. So if you want to go, you can go. If you want to stay, you can stay. If you want to wait, you wait, right? I don't think this whole thing is computing. We're indifferent, guys. You do you.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things cowboy and cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you kindly for stopping by to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. We're available on all of your podcasting platforms as well as YouTube, and you can find me on Twitter at AllDayOState. Today, we are brought to you by FanDuel. It is the only sportsbook betting app you are going to need for the Super Bowl. Yeah, today's going to be primarily about basketball because we did get a big win against Texas Tech. But briefly, I did want to hit, because I have seen a lot of it lately. It's just conversation about how the, quote unquote, irate eight is part of this preventionary process and OU and Texas leaving the conference. And I don't fully understand why that is the narrative that is being put out by some, because last time I checked, it was 100% a financial issue, right? So ESPN may be happy, Fox may be unhappy, maybe it's vice versa. Who knows? Who cares? Y'all wanted to bounce. That's fine. Everybody's okay with it, right? We're cool now. The new Big 12 is going to be the most exciting to watch conference. Now, notice I didn't say the best conference of all time since sliced bread, but I did say from top to bottom, the funnest conference to watch. It was this last season, and it will be with the new four. So it's no skin off our backs. Again, if you guys want to leave, I don't think there's anybody that really would bat an eye about it. The thing of it is you guys, well, one of you, maybe both of you, I don't know, but somebody financially doesn't want to pony up to the end of the bargain. Okay, so move on. If you can't pony up the money, honey, then what is the conversation for? There's no crying over spilled milk, right? None of us care. It's whatever at this point in time. So let's just call it what it is. It's a financial issue. Somebody doesn't have the capability to meet their requirements financially, so you're stuck like Chuck. Just embrace it or figure it out, but stop complaining about how any of the Big 12 has anything to do with you guys, one of you, not having the financial ability to move on. It's not that big of a deal. So, yes, we're going to move on to basketball now. John Michael Wright. Thank you, sir. Guys, this dude came to Oklahoma State, and he's talked before about how this was his dream school, basically. From his days of playing NCAA college football. He would always pick Oklahoma State, never necessarily knew why, but the more he got into it, the more he had fun with it, and that was always the team that he chose. So how many times do you think it's fair that he had a dream of doing something spectacular at Oklahoma State, and now he gets to do that? Yeah, and there's beauty in chaos. Sometimes there's beauty in, sometimes things being dysfunctional from the outside. And statistically, this game was very, very, very dysfunctional. It's not easy to consider winning a game against anybody if you have, a difficult time statistically. And if you're hovering below 22% from the 3-point arc, and you're only at 44% from the field goal percentage department. And then to top it off, you're only 58% from the three free throw line. Sorry, I know words are hard sometimes for me. Yes, they're free throws, and yes, they're difficult because you're kind of isolated on an island, but this is something that's practiced. So how we can be, a roster full of some pretty good shooters and be this inept from the free throw line is something that, is concerning. But they shot 90% from the free throw line. They shot over 33% from the three-point arc. They shot over 46% from the field goal stripes, and we did not, yet we still found a way to come out and win it. So at the end of the day, right, that's the important factor is early on in the season, we knew that this team, was struggling doing these things, which is closing out games. And yes, it's a big game, no matter what anybody says, because it does, again, set you up and you're winning 6 of your last 7, and you have multiple games in a row now, even multiple games in a row now in the Big 12. So you're literally at the apex of riding high. And some people are asking me on Twitter Spaces the other day if I thought maybe we'd peak too soon. My answer was no. And it still is. My concern, though, is it's more about, foul troubles has been a problem. Now it's even more of a highlighted issue. So now you mix in the foul concerns with potentially more injury stuff, right? That's where I think, it could dispel some, misconceived notions about what the season could be. I almost wonder if maybe, this trip to Ames, Iowa isn't a time to rest a couple guys, but I also know it's such a high quadrant win for the NCAA tournament that it's not going to happen. But yeah, we're pretty daggone banged up. I think everybody knows that. But even more so now, the guys on the radio call were talking about Musa Cisse limping a little bit, even though he did have like 23 minutes. So it's still quite a few minutes for somebody that's banged up. Kalib Asbury went diving out of bounds for a loose ball, and he dove weird, hit his knee on the court, and he was limping. Don't know how that is right now. Obviously, there's going to be swelling and things like that. So we're not really going to know. So that's the only reason I say that. I know it's not necessarily going to happen, but yeah, we're pretty banged up. So I don't think it's that we're peaking at the wrong time. I just think we're peaking at the right time. We're just running into a few hurdles. Because anybody that now feels like they athletically have some advantage, at least, they may be more inclined now to aggressively try to get our guys in foul trouble. Because that's what could potentially spell disaster. But again, it doesn't change the fact that we're literally like right there. We are within striking distance of playing for the regular season shot at a title. It is possible. And with the way we're playing or have been playing up to now, it's, conceivable, really. It's going to take a couple losses by Texas, but there's about to be a massive logjam, right? Like a five-way tie for second place. So again, this is the top conference in the country. So when you do play a Texas Tech that has talent, that's had a very, very down year, especially by their standards, but at the SEC challenge, that was a game they needed to get kind of off of the snide per se. And since then, they've been playing pretty good basketball. And just like Mike Boynton said, it's highly doubtful that they are going to end the season, right, with only one conference W. They're just too talented. And they're starting to kind of piece it together. Speaking of piecing things together, you guys already know, as we talked about in the open, FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and it's the only app you're going to need this year for a Super Bowl party. We've been extremely blessed and excited and happy to be able to partner with FanDuel They have a lot of great features that make sports betting fun and easy. Right now, you download FanDuel and get our no sweat first bet for Super Bowl 57, where you get up to $3,000 back in bonus bets if your first bet does in fact not win. FanDuel lets you do everything and bet on everything from money lines to point spreads and even touchdowns. It's the easiest, safest, secure app. And best of all, you get paid on your winnings instantly, right? There's no waiting game. So join FanDuel today. Go to FanDuel.com/lockedon to claim your no sweat first bet. Again, that is FanDuel.com/lockedon for your no sweat first bet in Super Bowl 57. Make every moment matter more with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So yeah, John Michael Wright got to have the put back, and they won the game. And Bryce Thompson, he even said he got a good look. He got to the mid-range spot that he was kind of hoping for. It felt good coming off of his hands. But again, this is a testament to seniority, right? And time in the gym, time in the game. John Michael Wright saw the trajectory, and he could tell that there's a good chance it was going to bounce off. And just by the angle the ball was moving and how many games this young man has played, he kind of could read it. And thank goodness he read it. And he read it so well because, that's a big win. I don't care what anybody says. To be able to continue the hot streak, right, more than anything else, to allow momentum to head into Ames, Iowa against the top 20 Iowa State team. It's really, really, really needed because after Iowa State, win, lose, draw, doesn't matter. We have KU coming to town. And that's a game that we always show up for, especially in Stillwater. So, you would think from a traditional standpoint, it's going to be a phenomenal game, no matter how you slice it. And if we can have a nice crowd, this crowd on hand, it was listed as 7,461. It didn't look like that, right? I'll just put it that way. But the way they had everything kind of scattered, it was kind of odd, kind of like a polka dot thing going on. But we always show up for KU, so I'm not gonna get on that big tangent here about the fans. It was a crappy weather day. We got a massive game coming up in Stillwater after the Iowa State game. So as long as everybody, does their part, show out for the Kansas game, it'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be fun. And Bill Self, hopefully he can continue to not exercise the demons of him bringing his Jayhawk squad to Galgaraiba. And then whenever you look at what they did to Kalib Boone has been our hottest player this season, right? Kind of by far. So to know that he's been extremely, extremely hot lately, and them show the ability to double him as aggressively as they did. Now, he did rebound, no pun intended. He did rebound in the second half, and he chipped in a very solid 9 points. But it was a really good job by Texas Tech defensively. I would have loved to see Tyreek Smith get some more minutes, but it is what it is. He still played an integral part of the W. Bryce Thompson, what a big first half. 21 points in the first half was unexpected. And then you got somebody like Quin Williams coming on, the freshman. He added 10 points, could have potentially even had more. He shied away on a couple shots that he probably should have been a little bit more aggressive on. But yeah, guys, the big story of the game is clearly John Michael Wright, even though it is worth mentioning that due to some of the limitations we had, you got to see the first minutes of a Nas Brown. And he actually, Nas got in there and he played pretty good. Now it's spelled N-A-Z, but I think they call him Nas. I'm just having fun. But yeah, it was good. It was good for Nas Brown to get some minutes because, we talk about in football, the injury side of things. It's not so much that it shows up on game day, but it's more about the preparation side of it, right? So you have to have some phenomenal athletes on scout team to replicate what the other team is going to bring to the table. And Nas Brown has been that guy. He has been the guy for, all season that has wore that extra colored jersey to give the defense a good look. So we know that he can, be productive because he shows up in practice on a daily basis. And that skip pass he had, that was a thing of beauty. That was a thing of beauty. And he got a solid few minutes. And maybe it's something that we're going to start asking more of people. Keon's going to continue to have to step up. John Michael Wright, this is the type of role that now is being asked of him. And realistically, you'd like to see a little bit more point production too, probably. And he'll tell you the same. We got to make free throws. Again, we circle back to that wagon. 58% in your home gym. It's not good. But again, this is another sign of growth for this basketball team, where you can have all these injuries kind of pop up. You can shoot under 22% from the three-point line when you can shoot barely 44% from the field. And then on top of it, you only shoot 58% from the free throw line. And typically a recipe for disaster. So to bear down and find a way to pull this out is a testament to how close these guys are, how much of a team they have become in every essence of the word. And if we can stay healthy and we can maneuver our way around too many fouls, we're going to be okay. But again, those are the things to pay attention to, because it's inevitable that these things, unfortunately, they pop up and bite us at some point. So it's how we're able to mitigate all of the risk of potential injuries and minutes and all that. It's going to be interesting to see. Coach Mike Boynton has already earned himself every pat on the back, right? His engagement with the students and media and everybody, it's been talked about before. He does allow you to be more engaged, to feel more involved and understanding what their day-to-day looks like, to help with the success level that we're all searching for. So it's good to see every dynamic kind of come to play. And it's good to see us get an ugly win, because when you play in the best conference, right, you've heard it over and over from the SEC in football. Well, of course, you got to count this game against whoever's in the back end because we're the SEC. Okay, well, the same is applicable for basketball, except it's actually true. The back half of the SEC in football it's a dumpster fire. But this is real. And it makes this run that we're making a lot more fun. This trip to Ames is going to be a thing of beauty. So I hope that we can kind of keep the Band-Aid type of scenario going into this one. And now let's shift a little bit to the Cowgirls. So they got another big win as they take out West Virginia 76-65. Naomi Alnadas, man, we keep talking about her. We've been talking about how she was probably going to be the main focal point of the offense preseason, and she typically is. But the real story of this game is the bigs. Claire Chastain having a little bit of an injury that she's got to deal with. It allowed people like Taylor Collins and Cassidy DeLapp to have big games. Taylor Collins even finished, with a double-double. She had a double-double a decent ways into the ball game. And Taryn Milton, right, being able to come in, drop 15, grab 10 boards for herself. So a couple different double-double machines. We controlled the game from the inside, which is good because Anna Gradasi, our sharpshooter from Estonia, she was a little off. And then our three-point sniper specialist from the outside, Laura Garzon, she was also a little off today. So, yeah, we're in a good spot in both women's and men's basketball right now. And I cannot see any scenario where both don't have a legitimate shot at making some noise in the tournament, any tournament, right? Whether it's the Big 12 or the postseason. Both are set up. I'd say women's health-wise is set up a little bit more, but the talent on the men's side it's been fun. It's been fun to watch. And to see how Mike Boynton has been able to pull everything out of these guys, it makes it even more fun to watch. So let's get behind them, guys. I did ask some people why women's basketball, even though we're cruising right now at a pretty good clip, doesn't have as great attendance. One interesting thing I got was, Mike Boynton is all over campus all the time, and all the players are on campus asking people, are you coming to this? I did hear that, maybe we could throw some things on the women's side that would help as well. So if anybody has any ideas in that department, please feel free to shoot down in the comments section, like, share, subscribe, do all that fun jazz, because that's all we're going to have for this one. But it's a very exciting time. It's hard to not be pumped up for where both basketball squads are at this very moment. So, as always, I love you all. God bless. Go Pokes. And we will do this again on the next one. Thank you for making this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. All right, y'all. Later.